Hello, welcome to the channel. Today what we're going to discuss is some Logic Apps Agent Loop updates. We've recently made a whole bunch of changes, a lot of tremendous new capabilities, and so I want to go ahead and talk about a few of them in today's video. Let's go. Okay, for those of you that might be new to Agent Loop or perhaps new to the channel, let's just take a bit of a step back and just discuss a little bit about Agent Loop and what it offers. So back in May at Build, we did introduce Agent Loop as a way to go ahead and build agentic workflows. And at the time, we did support both conversational and autonomous, but we've made some improvements around that to really just give both of those scenarios more capability, more firepower. So both of those modes are available. You can use whichever one you want based upon your scenario. Now, something that we've done on the autonomous side of things is we've done some additional integration with Foundry, Azure AI Foundry, and we are going to be, including the same in the conversational side in the near future as well. But what it allows you to do is actually connect to an existing Foundry project, and once you've selected that Foundry project, go ahead and select the model that you're interested in. Now, what happens when you do this and you choose to create a connection to Foundry, all of the telemetry will also head there, so that if you are heavily invested in Foundry, you will also see Logic Apps showing up there as well, and you can manage your agents in one particular location. Now, one of the capabilities inside of Logic Apps that makes it advantageous for building agentic workflows and processes is that we've got over 1,400 different connectors that connect as tools or knowledge. And if you think about agents, you do need to communicate with data sources, and you don't want to spend a ton of time custom building all of those interfaces or calls to the data sources when you can use connectors. And we've got a great experience that's battle tested around that is something that is highly advantageous. Now, one thing we've also introduced is called per user authentication, or what we also call OBO internally, which means on behalf of. So if we take a look at these particular connectors right in our tools, we've got here send an email. Now, historically, when a Logic Apps developer has created a connection to go ahead and connect to a service like Office 365 email, they do so under their own security context. They create a connection, they log in, and then those emails get sent on behalf of that user. Now, that is great in some use cases, but if you have a conversational experience and you've got a logged in user on the other end of that agent experience, you may want to actually perform certain actions on their behalf. And so we've introduced that so that as part of their chat, once you reach this particular tool and you want to send an email to this customer, you can actually enable a login and consent form to happen in the chat surface, where the user would go ahead and log in and consent, and that email would be subsequently sent on their behalf. This is huge. This is something our customers have been really interested in, and it's now available as well. Another thing worth knowing is that when we think about Logic Apps and building agentic workflows, you can build and run those anywhere, right? So from a build perspective, you can build those in the portal, you can build those on VS Code, really choice is yours. If we think about running it, obviously we love to see people running things in Azure. So in Azure Logic Apps Standard or our ACE v3 platforms, you can go ahead and run these, but also hybrid. This is also supported in Logic Apps Hybrid in the event you need to run this locally. Now, we are built on open standards. Under the hood, we are using semantic kernel. And so this is highly advantageous for customers, knowing that we are using a very popular orchestration framework, agentic framework from semantic kernel. And what we are enabling is just a simplified abstraction so that this allows customers to go ahead and build agents very simply. The other thing that we've done here is we've introduced A2A for our conversational and multi-agent capabilities. So this is another scenario where you're actually using an industry standard to go ahead and plug your agent into the broader ecosystem, whether that be Microsoft or even beyond. So we covered a little bit of this on the previous slide, but let's just there's a few additional things to discuss here. Now, everything you see on this slide is public preview, so just be aware of that. But we've introduced we've updated both the conversational and the autonomous use cases. We're supporting A2A protocols. We've got that built-in chat client you're going to see in the demo. This is using EasyAuth. This is using your Entra ID. This is authenticated, this is easy to set up, and this just works. You can also go ahead and take this chat client and host it outside of the Logic app as well. So if you have a custom surface, you can go ahead and do that. We do support advanced multi-agent orchestration patterns, including handoff. This is super powerful. This is super cool. I will definitely be having a demo on this in the near future. But, multi-agent solutions can be complex. Not with Logic apps. This is a great capability that we've introduced. We've also introduced the Python code interpreter for computational reasoning. Now, I'm not the biggest Python expert, but some of the demos I've seen are super powerful, where you can go ahead and generate code on the fly and execute it, and kind of blows your mind. So, definitely if you're interested in Python, go ahead and check this out. We've talked about the on behalf of authentication. That's pretty cool. And then also we've updated our observability, and you're going to see this in the demo as well. Let's get out of slides, let's get into a demo, and let's go from there. All right, so let's talk a little bit about a demo scenario where I can show you some of these new capabilities in Agent Loop and Logic apps that I just discussed. So we've got a fictitious company called Fourth Coffee. They're a B2C coffee retailer. They have an IT operations team and development team that manage and build applications. And as part of their corporate processes, all IT incidents changes should be logged in the ITSM tool ServiceNow. Now, Fourth Coffee is trying to streamline operations, and they're going to use the Logic apps and the new A2A agent capabilities in order to go ahead and address this. So the actual use case that we want to go after is managing secrets in Key Vault. Within Key Vault, naturally, you can manage certificates and secrets and keys, and they will have expiration dates. Now, what you can do is configure alerts in Azure Monitor when a secret is about to expire. And so that's what we're going to lean on here. So the idea is that a key is about to expire, and then we want to go ahead and kick off a process to go update these things. So we can do that using an agent, and in this case, Logic apps, and we can orchestrate this process and include the need to update ITSM tool ServiceNow, but also go ahead and seek approvals and go ahead and communicate with stakeholders. And that's what we're going to do using Logic apps and Agent Loop. All right, so this is the Logic app agent that I've gone ahead and built. Now, what's new is I'm using the A2A chat session. And so this is going to use that A2A protocol. This is obviously great when you talk about multi-agent communication, and they can go ahead and talk to your Logic app agent. But also, our new conversational experience also leverages this. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and use it. The next thing is we have our Agent Loop action itself. We can go ahead and choose a model. I'm using ChatGPT 5, but feel free to use 4.0 or 4.1 or whatever you want to go ahead and use. And then here I've outlined my business process, right? So my agent, its role is an IT operations agent to manage IT service management requests. And then we also have some instructions here. So whenever you go ahead and make a request to update a Key Vault secret, we need to follow this process here, right? So pretty straightforward. Create a ticket, seek approval for that ticket, update the ticket based upon whether it was approved or rejected. If approved, update the secret and then the ITSM ticket. If rejected, update the ticket, and then go ahead and close that ticket and summarize the outcome and send the summary to stakeholders. I've also asked for the output to look nice and use icons to help communicate that. Now, some of the tools that we've got going on here is the ITSM tools. So we're going to go ahead and update a ticket, close a ticket, and create a ticket. These are all going to call child workflows. Here we can see our agent parameters for those particular workflows, and we've established those as part of the tool creation. We've got a couple other tools that are interesting. An adaptive card. This is where we're going to go ahead and send an approval, and we're going to pass in the secret name and the expiry date. We've got the tool that will go ahead and update a Key Vault secret. Now, within this workflow, I am just going to go ahead and use the management API. So I'm using HTTP request, managed identity in order to go ahead and do that. Here, same idea. I'm going to go ahead and call a child workflow. In this case, I'm just using the Key Vault connector. And I don't have any parameters here, so it's just going to return all keys in this case. Naturally, if you wanted to filter, you could do that if you wish. And then the last tool is we've got stakeholder communication, where we want to include the ticket number and the status. Here, I'm not using an adaptive card. I could have if I wanted to, but just keeping things kind of simple from this perspective. So let's go ahead and switch over to this new chat mode that will allow us to go ahead and interact with this agent. Now, this is brand new. This is pretty slick. So this is on the Logic app itself. We now have this chat experience. You can also go ahead and use this outside of Logic app. So maybe you've got your own iframe or your own custom experience. You can go ahead and do that. We include some instructions for how you can go ahead and do this securely. This becomes super powerful when we also include on behalf of authentication. Now, I'm not going to do that in this video, but I will in a future video. That's super empowering and something worth checking out if you want to transact on behalf of the logged in user itself. Now, before I go ahead and start chatting with the agent itself, you might be wondering, okay, how do I know that actually a Key Vault secret is about to expire? And this is what's happened, right? So I've just got an alert from Azure Monitor, and it says in my inbox, just saying, hey, you've got a key that's nearing expiry. You should go ahead and update it. So that's what we're going to go ahead and do as well. Now, what's kind of interesting, and I might do this in a future video, is Azure Monitor also has actions that include calling a Logic app. So we could go ahead and also reach out to a Logic app and do this autonomously as well. So that's something that I'll explore in the future, but in this case, we want to do this conversationally, so we're going to go ahead and use this particular approach. So now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and issue a prompt of list secrets. And this is going to go ahead and reach out to our agent, call that list secrets tool, and it should give us some information back. All right, so here we can see that we've got a key called Web API Key. It is enabled, but it's about to expire in 4 days. So this is an issue, right? We want to go ahead and resolve this. Also, look at all of the icons, right? So this is when you ask it to make it pretty, that's what it's done. So that's kind of interesting too. And now what it's prompting us to provide is like, okay, what do you want me to do? And so, yeah, we want to update this key. This is an issue. And then it's outlining the process that we're going to go through, which is also kind of nice too. So we've got some understanding of what that looks like. We're going to go ahead and update this, and we will provide a new time. So I'm going to say, please update, provide a new date. Now let's push this out. Let's make this next September 25th. And let's see if there's anything else they're asking for. And yeah, I think we're probably good to go at this point. So we'll go ahead and click submit. So as part of this process, we talked about an approval. And so that's what we see here, right? So inside of Microsoft Teams, there's an approval that's sitting here for us. And so, yeah, we want to go ahead and approve this. So we'll go ahead and click the button. That's an adaptive card that's coming from our approval tool. So the agent will continue to go ahead and make some progress. Okay, so now we're seeing some updates streaming in. So we can see here that the secret has been updated, right? So we see the name of the key, the new expiry date, that it was completed successfully. And then as required, we've got our ITSM processes sorted out, right? So we've got a ticket that ends in 967. We can see that it was approved in the name of the approver, so that's cool. And then we did update the secret, and the ticket was updated with the approval, and it was closed, and that we've notified stakeholders. Well, let's double check that. So yeah, if we head back over to Teams, we can see that we've got a message from our agent. We've got the ticket, and that it's closed, and that this has been updated to have the new date that we're interested in. So that looks good. Let's see here. So yeah, we didn't expose the secret value. That's good. Yeah, we don't want to do that. That'd be bad. And yeah, so all in all, things look pretty good from that perspective. Now, let's head over to ServiceNow. Let's look up ticket 967, and let's see what we find here. All right, so we've got 967. We can see it's in a closed state, so that's good. And let's see, we've got a little bit of an audit trail here. So we can see it was created as new. We can see it was updated, and that we've got the approver providing their approval. So that's great. Then we can see that the key was updated successfully. So that's cool. And then we can see that it was actually closed as well. So there's a lot of things that are going on in the background, but we're also able to go ahead and ensure that we're compliant with our corporate standards. Like, we would have had to do this all ourselves, manually doing this, which isn't a whole lot of fun. Now, let's head over to the run history, because I feel like this is important too, right? We've made some changes to this, which is also, really insightful for customers too. So the one thing is we've got the agent log. So this still exists. Not too much has changed here. But this is one way to look at sort of all of the chat that took place between our user and our agent, right? So we listed secrets, and then, hey, we could see that the tool list, the the tool list keys was actually called, which is great to see that. And then we can go ahead and see exactly what happened, and along the way see the steps that took place, and all of the inputs, all of the outputs, all of the timestamps. This is all available for us, and we've got full traceability. And if you kind of think of it from a chat perspective, it's pretty easy to follow. So that's pretty cool. Now, the other thing we did introduce, though, is this task timeline. So this is just another way of viewing this. And so we can go ahead and select a specific task and see exactly what took place. And so here what we've got is some back and forth, going between our model and our user, and we can see exactly what took place from that perspective. Now let's just click on another one here. And here's when we went ahead and sought the approval. So you can use either way. It doesn't really matter, which one you use, but you're going to get sort of that same sort of outcome. Just depends on what you go ahead and prefer. Especially if you were the user that was talking, this might make more sense to you. But if you were perhaps just sort of reviewing a particular agent execution, maybe the task timeline works better for you. But either way, you're kind of good from that perspective. So that concludes the demo. Hopefully that was interesting for you. The team's been super hard at work. A lot of this stuff came together since the Integrate conference, so we've been really busy. And also encourage you to explore some of those other features as well that we talked about in the intro. And also look for more videos as kind of I have time to put them together that just show you all of the great updates that the team has been made recently. Thanks again, and we'll talk to you later.